Hey.
Hey, hey, hey. I'm super excited. I got my girl Imani Aieshah with me today. And look, for those of you all that can see us on video, you probably already laughing at us because she can get the wavy hands and everything. But this is exciting because this woman has so much wisdom and so much insight. I remember listening to her speak the first time, and I was like, she was just so laser focused on her nuggets in a group. I was like, oh God, I need to connect with her. But I got her here so she can talk about her journey. So you ladies that are tuning in can listen and learn, get that stamina up, that endurance, because, entrepreneurship, it is what it is. And we know why we're here, right? Because we can't bitch, whine, and complain about our circumstances. We got to do what we've got to do. And she's fabulous for that. I wanted to go ahead and break the ice and formally tell us who she is and give them some information about you, Imani. And we're going to get this ball rolling.
Yes. Hey, ladies. I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you, August, for having me. And so who am I, right? That question. Really, I'm a creative, and that I think that speaks a lot of who I am in my core. As a
Yes.
child and everything, I'm just a creative person, and I'm I'm a wife, happily,
Yes.
man, yes, who is my brand of crazy, which is really, which is really important for me, apparently, because I chose him, right? And he chose me. And I have a little girl named Sovereign. And
Oh,
actually, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but her birthday is coming up on the 13th of November. So she's going to be 2 soon.
happy
So yeah,
birthday.
we say all, right? But we know what I'm in for.
Terrible twos, baby.
I'm like, oh, it's already started. I feel like she should just stop at 2 because she's already done the parts that are like, what's going on? Um, I'm just like, so we're done, right? No? Okay, there's more.
Can I call you out on something?
Uh-oh. Already? We're just getting started. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, LOL. So I hope that this doesn't mess with you, but I want the people to know something because you said you are a creative. And I'm a creative too. We both like poetry. We love music. We're naturally musically inclined. And I just want everybody that's jamming at the beginning, hey, real women don't, real women don't. That's who's in the studio with me. She is the
Yes.
one responsible for that track. So yes, when we say that she's a creative, she's a true creative. And I love that because we haven't really transitioned into who you are as a business owner, but that's one of the things that keeps what you do from being boring.
Yeah.
Being a creative, I'll at least spill the beans because you're a marriage coach, but your creativity, it keeps it from being like, are you having problems in your marriage? Here's steps 1, 2, and 3. So I love that about you. So I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I just had to bring it up. And I'm like, how did I not say that at the beginning?
And I thought to myself, I was like, I wonder if she's going to say it. I mean, she doesn't have to. It's cool. I was like, I wonder if she's going to say it. Because I'm like, that's an interesting segue. Like, girl, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's all me, right? So yeah, I love doing that. We do. We enjoy poetry. We spit a few bars back in our days, But yeah, I mean, that is at the core of who I am and how I operate. And my daughter's name, I'm going to say because everybody's like, oh, wow, when I say it. But yeah, she's turning 2. Her name is Sovereign.
Yes.
Yes. And she is living up to her name. I take complete blame for that. She's super independent.
Yeah.
She literally will push me away. She doesn't want me to help her with stuff. And I'm like, you still need me. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just going to let you know. You can't do this thing on your own.
The mommy battle.
Exactly, right? So that's really, the crux of who I am. Of course, I'm here. So entrepreneur, wife, mamapreneur, however you want to, call it. But yeah, that's me.
Yes, like so. Talk about you. As in business, you're the mom, wifepreneur. What do you do? Let the audience know what's your specialty.
My specialty, honestly, at the foundation of it, I help these couples get out of their own way when it comes to their marriage. I help them realize things and create the marriage that they want, because they were never taught how to be in a marriage. And I'm not saying it because I was taught, because guess what? I wasn't taught. Were you taught?
I wasn't. Oh God, I was taught everything not to do, which discouraged me, and I didn't want to do. And it's kind of like, wow, because I've been with my husband for 11 years.
Yes.
I married 7 of those, and I definitely had to learn through trial and error.
Exactly. And that's how it is for many people. And some people just find themselves going through the motions and realize way later, or not at all, that, you know what, I didn't learn this. I wasn't taught. I didn't realize this. And this is why we're having the conflict. And so really opening up people's eyes to that. And without all the platitudes that you already know about communication is key and don't go to bed angry and all the things that you hear and things that you can Google. Okay, Google's not going to, save your marriage.
No.
So that's really where it comes from, because if I say I save marriages, I'm not just talking about separation, right? I'm talking about from mediocrity, from complacency, from, being miserable and unfulfilled, and people are in their marriages feeling like that.
Ouch. Can I interject?
Yes.
So we've barely gotten started, you guys, and this initial segment is going to be about Imani and her journey. But I just want to go ahead and spill the beans. We're going to come back and we're going to do a 4-part series where we're going to talk about some of this stuff, because that's the nerve right there that you hit. Mediocrity. Yeah. Complacency in relationships. That's not normal. That's not the way that it's supposed to be. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to get married. I'm like looking at my grandmother and saying, is this how it's supposed to be every single day? And a lot of people can't fathom that there can literally be bliss, that every time you look at your spouse, you imagine them naked, you should be able to have fun in marriage and still chase each other. Like your husband is crazy. My husband is my brand of crazy. And
exactly.
I love it. And that's the spot right there.
Right.
Most people don't want to get help until it's at that, but he did this. And it's like, oh no, sweetie, it was through all of those years of you just glossing over stuff that it came to that point. And I know I've watched you for a long time now, and I've looked at the impact that you've had on people, and they'll be like, really? I figured this out in this short period of time from you teaching me this thing about internal reflection, this thing about communication, this thing about bridging the gap and dealing with the voids and the differences. And so, yeah, that's important. You're passionate about what you do. That's very, very obvious. And I love the fact that it's deeper than, I want to jump in before you're ready to go ahead and sign on the dotted line. If you are in a position of mediocrity, I'm saying that that's not good enough either. That's powerful. So I'm sorry.
No apologies.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bring it all home, Auguste.
But you can go ahead and take it back, because this is important. So you're in business, you're a marriage coach, you help people see the things that are possible. You get them out of just plain Jane marriages into, these powerhouse, loving, affectionate relationships. You've been doing this for a while. Talk to us about your journey as an entrepreneur, because we need to encourage some other women out there who found that they have a gift that they're passionate about and they wanted to monetize it. But we want to encourage them because there's ups and downs along the road of entrepreneurship. Yeah. So what has your journey of entrepreneurship been like?
I was playing at this for some time. And I think if a lot of people, here are willing to admit it, they were too. And out of fear, out of self-doubt. So for me, like I said, even as a child, I was creative. And I felt like maybe I'd go down the creative path. And when I got into school, I excelled in school, was good at, academics, and I would get these accolades, and people were so proud of me. And so there started to be a lot of expectation for me that started to lift me up, that I was kind of walking around on other people's shoulders, so to speak. And so I lived that, for a while, but feeling kind of conflicted, like, oh, they want me to get my PhD. They want me to, be Dr. Marshall. That's my maiden name at the time. And I was like, oh, do I really want to do this? And I applied. I didn't get in. I wasn't sad, but I applied because I was like, oh, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. And then, I did end up in academia, and I loved being in front of the classroom, affecting students. And I was there for them hardcore. I mean, they were in it to win it. So was I. I would meet you before class, whatever. And I said, I think there's something else out there for me, but can I really do this? Can I really make this happen, or just be one of them pipe dreams that I tell my children back in the day, So I did go to Google University. I mean, Google's good for some things, y'all. I'm not, Google don't come for me. I'm not smashing Google, but I came across coaching and I was like, what is this? Because I have family members in psychology fields, but it was different. This was different. And I was like, yes, it's just, something about it just spoke to me. And I've always, despite the fact that my parents were not an example of a marriage or a healthy marriage, and they ended up divorcing, I had this love for the possibility in relationships and what they could be and what I could have outside of, what my parents had. And so I was like, oh, there's like relationship coaching. There's, you can coach for everything. I was like, I was in heaven just Googling. I said, well, let me get, figure out what this thing is about. So being from academia, I was like, all right, I'll get certified. That's what you do, because I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do. And the reality is that I was coaching people once I realized it, way before I got certified. Right? I think for those of us who have it in us, it's something that we find that we were always doing to some capacity.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, I got certified, and then I did all the things that you realize mean very little in the grand scheme of things. Like, okay, I need a website, I need a logo, I need, business cards, let me create all this content, which I did. I still have it sitting in my computer that I didn't use. And I came to a space where I was really searching, to be honest with you, top of this year, after I had my child, because I took that time to just figure out how to be a mother. It was new, and I had a miscarriage before her. So it was very close to me that, oh my God, I had her. I just want to immerse myself in this. And I did. And when she got to a certain age, come January, I was like, okay, Miss Independent, you got this.
Let me bring this back. Let me go back and pursue that dream that I had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did. I had to bring it back, just like you said, and say, okay, how am I do this for real? Because the logos ain't making me no money. The websites, people aren't really using their websites hardcore like they used to. So much is online. Well, how do I do this thing? You know what I mean?
Right.
I felt like, man, I'm behind on the times, and coming across people online, coming across you. I mean, it just changed my perspective. It changed what it was that I could do as an online entrepreneur. And now I can reach people in a way that they see it, in themselves, and they say, okay, I can see how she can serve me. Because I'm not here to convince you need help. You already know that somewhere, that.
Right.
I'm here to let you know how I can serve you. Exactly. And if that's right, if you're going to jump on it, you're going to jump on it, because you know that you got to do something. And you and I just might be that something that's going to get you over that hump. And so I'm still on the journey. I mean, I feel like you're always on the journey.
You know what? No, you really are. But you put a couple of bullet points out that I think are really important, is that everybody goes through this thing of self-discovery. Yeah. And a lot of times we try to find validation in outside things. It's not that your certification program wasn't a good thing. I'm sure that there's a lot that you gained with clarity, focus, and actually how to deliver your product or service, which is because everybody, I know that you can. I know that you could have sat down and mapped everything out and created it, but there's some great things that came from going through a certification course, but it's just the point that the course wasn't what you could rely on for you to excel in your business. And it's the same thing, the websites, the presentation, that's what we can't rely on. But I also want to, in addition to saying that we can't rely on things because it's actually us,
Yeah.
that promotes the business, sometimes you have a little dip that happens, so you having your child, you, you said it, and I know you weren't glossing over it, but I just want to kind of go back to it a little bit. You having a child is a beautiful thing for a woman, and I've never experienced a miscarriage, but I did experience potentially my child being stillborn.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to the doctor when I found out that I was pregnant with my now 4-year-old daughter, and I went to go see the doctor, and they couldn't find a heartbeat. And that was one of the scariest seasons in my life. And they were like, you got to get to the emergency room right now. And that's a whole nother story. Perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, dealt with some challenges. But I knew other women that had had miscarriages, and that right there, that hit me at my core. And I hadn't even thought about that until, right now. And you've mentioned that to me before.
Yeah.
So that spiritual dip of losing one, and then coming back, being pregnant again, and having one, it's like, okay, I've got to go all in with my baby. And I think that sometimes women have a tendency to guilt themselves, because I'm one of them people. I'm a beast your business, work your business. But at the same time, if you don't really, really know me, you won't understand that I'm also very sympathetic to the dilemmas that people go through. And so that's a war in itself, to say, okay, here it is. I have this grand vision. You want to be successful as a person. You've already fought to meet the expectations of everyone in your family. That didn't work for you. You've launched a business. You had a perfect presentation. You haven't made any money. Then you have a baby, and then you got to slow down, and then you got to come back again. That's a hell of a journey.
Yeah.
The way that you said it, because you guys, if you know Imani, she's just this very sweet, calm, cool, cavalier woman. But there's a lot of passion that's laced in that story that you just told. And that for a woman that's dealt with any of it, even a fragment of it, do you hear that? And so for those of you that are listening, I want you to be encouraged to understand that it's never too late. Right. Because you did come back around full circle. Excuse me. And you did change your environment. You got around other entrepreneurs that were beasting and that were doing the thing. And you were able to gain a new perspective, and you were able to make a radical transformation in how you view your business and how you present yourself. And I'll let you tell it. Somebody put a post up the other day about anytime they think about marriage, they think, what was that was on Facebook the other day?
Yeah, this online thing, right? It could be great. So someone who actually had messaged me before, who's on my personal page, like my friends and family, I'm passionate about, I still put things about marriage. And so they must associate me with that, because someone that they know, who I don't know, put up a question about, marriage, and they tagged me in it to see what my thoughts were. And then I didn't even tell you this part, August, because it happened later. So I put my, response, and then the person who tagged me re-tagged the person who put the post on there, so they could see make sure they saw my response.
Yeah, even though they're going to see it because they don't want to put the post
right. Out. I mean, just extra, but it's this sheer, once you put out there what you do, and you put that energy out there, that people do associate you with that part of you, because it is part of you, what you do, especially as a coach. I mean, we are our service. We are the whole shebang. So we put a lot of ourselves, we put ourselves on the line. We tell our stories. We're vulnerable. We're transparent. And so that was pretty cool to see that, because those are the things you don't necessarily expect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And my thing is, I know from watching you that there was a time when there were certain, it's not about promoting your business on your page, but just at least being open with talking about, what you do. A lot of entrepreneurs, you want to be successful online, but then you don't fully tap into online. How is anybody going to have the association that when you say mindset, it's
Yeah.
August. When you say marriage, it's Imani. And that was one of the things that you really started hammering in on, just simple random questions that were like really, nerve wracking, certain videos. And of course you use your business page and you do all of that too. But the way that you chose to engage people, and you were very constant and persistent about presenting yourself, about your business, people began to see you
Right.
as the authority that you are. And unfortunately, so many times people hide in the shadows of, what basically kind of like an employee mindset. Well, when that performance appraisal comes up, and if they give me high enough scores, then maybe I can accelerate to the next level, and then
Right.
I'll get that promotion, that one spot that there are about 100 other employees vying for, maybe I'll be the one to get it. But in entrepreneurship, you can't wait for someone to find you. You have to put a spotlight on yourself and
Right.
say, here I am. I see you, and this is how I can serve you, because you know that you need my help. So
Yes.
go. Come
No,
on.
I'm just saying, like, yes, right, exactly, right on, to all of that. And when real talk, I mean, all of us know the online, Facebook, social media, it is saturated.
Yes.
It is saturated. When you realize that, you're like, all of these daggone people, some of whom do the same thing you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I have to stand out. And the only way you can stand out is by putting yourself out there. I mean, that's just the reality. In whatever way, shape, or form, whether you're writing all the time, blog, whatever it is, writing articles, you're doing videos, you have a podcast, you have to, because people have to resonate with who you are, because that's the only unique thing is you, and so you're not going to stand out in the shadows. I mean, hello, that's literally you in the shadows, so you're not going to stand out, but there's no way. I mean, think about it. So I had to get over that real quick from my personal page standpoint, to really be able to do that.
No, absolutely. So you got all these different things that are going on in your journey, and you had different roadblocks that you had to overcome. What do you think was the most transformational period for you? Maybe not necessarily very low, but it's like, whoo, I got to make some changes.
Not to be repetitive, but it was having my daughter. And here's why. That was a period of very deep transition for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I really look back at it, and, because we can gloss over things real quick once time starts to catch up with us. I was working. At one point, I was working 3 jobs, before I had her. So when I had my daughter, I stopped working. That was the first time, like, I wasn't working. And I stopped working. We were in Atlanta when before she was a year old. We moved to North Carolina, where we don't know anybody, and my husband got a job here. So all of this stuff is happening, and I'm like, I looked at my daughter like, I want you to know that there's other possibilities. I want you to know that when you have a family, spending 10 hours a day apart, 5 to 6 days a week, depending on the type of job you have, does not have to be your normal. I want you to know that it's possible, because I didn't know this, even though I had certain people in my life who had tried and failed at entrepreneurship. I didn't know that I could do it. I didn't see the example happen successfully. And so I'm like, well, we gotta, you're gonna get in some entrepreneur camps. Mommy gonna show you something. We're gonna be on mommy's 401k when you get old enough. We're gonna get you a retirement plan at like 15, and you're gonna be, all of this possibility that I saw in her, because it's that overwhelming, like, I want so much for my child.
Yeah.
That I wanted this for myself. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, I didn't want this for me too. I wanted this for me, but I knew that it was going to be an example to her. I knew I wasn't going to be this mom like, oh yeah, I had dreams that I wanted to pursue and I didn't, because then I'm teaching her something in that.
Absolutely.
So that was transformational for me and for my husband, who was like, you can do this. And it was not always easy on him, because now financially he's the everything. And when he wants to, that's his mindset, that is a responsibility for him. And he pushes me and he lifts me up. But there were times when it was very rough for him. Doesn't mean that it doesn't get rough. And we had to have some heart-wrenching, sometimes tear-soaked, mostly on my side. My tears, I'm a crier.
Baby.
But conversations about it, and not just one of them, several of them.
Yes.
To see how this was going to work for us, how we were going to make it. And that meant some really hard financial times, job loss, bankruptcy, crawling up out of the trenches to say, well, I still want to do this, and not necessarily and say, oh man, I struggle with getting part-time jobs to supplement. And he had to sit me down and say, look at this, you making this little bit of cheddar at this part-time job, and it's taking all this time away from you pursuing something you want to do. What sense does that make? And that's just how my husband is. He's like, what? Tell me.
Girl, that right there, you just stole my heart. That I know a lot of you ladies that you don't have that. Unfortunately, what I've seen in the online arena is a lot of women who are doing this on their own that don't have that radical support from a spouse. I know that me and you are two people that are exceptions to the rule.
Right.
But that's the truth. But once again, I know that the listeners and the viewers that you are hearing it, but all those bullet points, it's like bankruptcy, job loss, the burden of the finances on the spouse, conversations, tears. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in there. Everybody's story is not going to be the same, but everybody's story is going to have that moment of truth.
Yeah.
Struggle is struggle. And at the appropriate time, it knows exactly when to come and when to hit us. And you have to be willing to stand for what you believe in. And me personally, as a coach, I tell people all the time, most of you want to carry the banner of providing a service to help a people. And especially when it is at the capacity of coaching, it's actually kind of important that you go through something that you have to push through, because you need to understand what it means to be patient with people. Yeah. Some people may think I'm impatient sometimes because I'll be like, what you gonna do? You better fix it. No, but seriously, I am a very patient woman, because individuals that are coming to me, they're fragile. I always ask people to look at the reality of what you're doing in business, especially if you're a coach. You have people that are coming to you that need to be fixed. You can't be a doctor and be afraid of the sight of blood.
Right.
And unfortunately, some of you, you're going to have to look at yourself and say, am I showing that I'm built for this? Your ability to press and to go through those hard times, to have those difficult conversations and still come out like you are right now, that's part of the qualifier of why you are excellent at what you do. And that's another thing that a lot of us miss out on. We look at the issues that we've dealt with, and because the struggles come against us, we're like, oh my God, I was feeling kind of down. My mindset was low. Can I really help anybody else with their mindset? Heck yeah, as long as you decide to push through it.
Right.
Oh God, my marriage isn't looking that good right now. Do I really have the qualifications to help someone else with their marriage? Yes, absolutely you do, because you've pressed through and lived out your own philosophies. And I love that about you. So, through this metamorphosis, you've been through all of these things, these ups and downs, baby coming, starting the business, not working, all these tools, come back, relaunch, try to still dibble dabble, part-time job, bankrupt, all these different things at just different points, but yet you're still here, and yet you're still standing, you're still pursuing. You finally cracked the code and was like, I can get somebody to pay me. This is not a fallacy, to the degree that you have a different level of support, from family members. Things are changing.
Right.
And they're moving forward for you. What are some of the positives in your life? Be that your circle or tools that you use, best practices. What helps keep you sane? Right, yes, you said it. Yes, what keeps you sane right now?
A few things. I have a lot of fun, because that's I really do. I make sure, because I can be serious. I'm not, all fun all the time, but I have fun, and it doesn't have to be some extravagant fun. Like I said, I'm in a place where I don't know anybody, despite the fact that I'm a fairly social person. But my husband, we rock it out. We have dance parties, in our living room. The other day he was like, so man, girl, I got to take you to the club, because we was getting into some reggae. And I was like, we too tired to go to nobody's club. But we just bring the club to us. So we have a lot of fun, very spontaneous moments just because of who we are. And that, I'll say, because I know that I'm so busy, those moments are very important to me. Second thing I do is your fault, because I started journaling. It's a good thing. I started journaling, and it wasn't something that I tried to get into as a child. I had a diary and journals. People always gave me journals because I wrote poetry, and I would write poetry in them, but I wouldn't journal,
Mm-hmm.
And so I started kind of journaling things out to help me get clarity and realize how helpful that was to manifest things, to get through things, to get to the bottom of stuff, to just kind of brain dump, ideas and work through them. And journaling has really helped me stay organized. So that always helps with sanity. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I take an hour twice a week, and I started getting back into yoga. It was something that I did. Yoga for me is meditative. It also is going to hopefully help me keep some of these parts of this post-baby body together. There's some parts that just are different, and maybe that'll just but it's a meditative practice for me. That hour is really helpful for me, and my husband takes our child, and I go for that hour, and it's just me and that class. So that's something that I started to implement the last couple months that have just really helped give me a little bit of harmony in my life, away from my computer. Y'all know
those are some excellent things, and I get a little controversial sometimes because I'm come against the self-care industry a lot, because I'm like, you all out here just telling these women that all they need to do is go somewhere and they're sitting around for 5 hours a day, taking care of themselves, and then they wonder why they're not making any money. It's like, you do need to take care of yourself, but it's like entrepreneurship is going to require a different level of muscle from you, where that's sometimes true. You can feel, because how I feel about the word balance, because you're going to feel like so out of balance, but it's the simple things that you do consistently. Right. And that's the thing that I think that people do wrong. It's like, okay, well, in order for me to be okay, I'm going to beast, and I'm only going to take care of myself once I crash and burn.
Right.
You have it inserted in throughout your life. The days that you're journaling hard, then you have your yoga days, you have your meditative periods, you're overlapping things, and even just in your life. Yeah, I love that. I love the whole thing about having fun.
Yes.
You heard me mention earlier that me and Mr. Crenshaw literally chase each other. It must be having two. Well, now he's 3. Yay. A 3 and a 4-year-old. We all chasing each other. We go hide in closets, and we're just silly. Jesus, my kids like to go outside, and they like to play with dirt. So going outside means shampooing hair every day. Yeah. But those are those memories.
Right.
You can create memories in the midst of being an entrepreneur. Like I tell people all the time, don't look at the clock. Pay attention to the moment.
Exactly.
Maximize the opportunities. Be fully immersed. Because there are some times when I have a very radical schedule myself.
Right.
But it's like, what? Just 30 minutes. What you doing? Come on, Mr. Crenshaw. Put that phone down. We cutting it off. We're not answering anybody, and we're just going to be silly. Whatever it is that we do. And sometimes it's just sitting in the kitchen, and he could be like, I'm going to make you something to eat. And I'll be like, oh, this is sexy. Because I was the one that was always making the food, and then I'm teasing them and messing with them, acting like a TV show. Look, I'm silly. I'm like you. So, but those are beautiful things. So ladies, what are you guys doing to keep your sanity? What are you guys doing to keep the joy? What do you guys do? Because stress stifles creativity.
Absolutely.
And sometimes if you're doing something, you cannot figure it out for the life of you, and technology just seems to be a demon. Sometimes what you need to do is you just need to go away.
Yep.
You need to do something silly. I'll go watch a video or something by something that I know is just stupid, hilarious. I'll even go do something hilarious. You know, that's how you know I'm probably working too hard. I start doing stuff that's really silly. but break away and come back. You woosah, and then you start again. So there was a lot of nuggets. There's a lot of information in here, ladies, for you guys that are listening. If you were on right there on the fence of, do I quit or do I keep going? I don't know what you're wrestling with in your family, with your children, with your money, all of those things. You can still do this.
Yeah.
You can still push. You are full of wisdom. And so I know you got some awesome words of wisdom for the people that are listening to encourage them, you know, the ladies on their entrepreneurial journey, because you feel the pleasure of doing your own thing. I feel the pleasure of doing my own thing. We don't want you guys to stop. So what are your words of wisdom for the listeners?
Oh, and you know, it's along the lines of what you were just saying. Something that keeps me pushing through, like you're saying, through the dips, is that you really aren't going to fail if you keep going. And I know it's like, oh, you know, but it's an endurance thing. When I realized that it's an endurance thing, I was like, well, I'm just going to endure. You know, oh, this happened. Shoot, you know, that didn't work. I lost money there. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep moving through, and I'm going to endure, because I know that my success, as I've defined it with my husband, is on the path of my endurance. And so there are people that I know who've quit their business, you know. There are other people that I know who've taken a little bit of a sabbatical and have come back super strong, because they're going to keep getting back in the game. And everybody, like you said, everybody's journey looks different, but it's an endurance thing. And if you can say, I'm going to endure through this, this isn't going to stop me, this isn't going to, defeat me, then you start looking at the quote unquote failures differently. You say, okay, I learned that lesson. I'm going to keep on moving, because I'm in a different place than I was a year ago, 6 months ago now. So things change quite rapidly. But if I wasn't still in the game, I wouldn't be experiencing what I'm experiencing now, you know?
Absolutely. So how do they stay in contact with you? I know that they're like, she's a beautiful soul.
Oh,
you have the right kind of spirit to be a marriage coach. Just honestly, just real talk.
I want to see you do. We're going to do it together. August going to be like, get your marriage together.
And you're going to be like, because you can. Yeah. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Imani don't take no mess, but she just got there unique. She's very passionate about what she does, and she's not going to let you shortchange your transformation. So, But where do they find you? Anywhere, everywhere? What do you have for the listeners that they can go to the website and click on? Tell them everything they need to know.
Geez, all these goodies, right? No, but I love connecting with people, real talk. I always tell people, like, look, I know we're in the online arena, but there's literally a person. Sometimes we forget, on the other side of this Facebook post, of this whatever, this tweet, Instagram. So I love connecting with people. Even if you just want to say, hey, I saw you, girl. How you doing? You know. But you can reach me, Facebook, Imani Aieshah, pretty simple. My Facebook page, you can always PM me. I love to see that little inbox ping. That's cool. And I am on Instagram, also Imani Aieshah, across all of the social media channels. And what I have for you guys is the foundation for starting to get some time together. Some of y'all are like, oh, I'm busy. I'm beasting my business, and my husband trying to play right now. He see I'm beasting my business, you know. But at the end of the day, you feel like you have to sacrifice all of this time and intimacy with your spouse. And you've heard, Auguste and I talking about this today. And you're like, well, how do I really do that? Well, this is that foundation for how you can start to do that. Is a guide specifically for that. And so that's what I gave you for getting that time together despite your crazy schedule.
Absolutely. So listen, in order to get that, head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com and click the link, get your offer. Before we skedaddle and get out of here, I mentioned earlier in this segment that we are bringing the great Imani Aieshah back because we're going to help you ladies work through some of your marital issues. For the listeners who are married and beasting your business, but you're having a little bit of friction at home, we are going to do a 4-part series just for you. It's going to be on and popping. So the date is to be announced. But I want to let you hear the titles of the segments because these are super cool. The first one is how to rethink your time in your biz and your bedroom. Ooh. Number 2, the second segment is going to how to get the support you crave as you go hard for your dream. And that's a big one, ladies. We thrive off of support. We want to know that our spouses got our back. Number 3 is standing naked in front of the mirror for your marriage. Figuratively, of course.
Literally.
But being will work too. We have to do another segment on that. And then number 4 is work your biz at home, but don't make your home a business. Whew, those titles right there. That ought to pick some, that should have pricked some spirits. It should have made you feel some kind of way.
Come on with it.
I'm excited. I cannot wait until we delve into those. Your story is amazing. It's powerful. I know that there are some women that have listened and have been encouraged who may have went through similar things, and some of them may not have even been through as much as you have, but you allowed them to see through your entrepreneurial journey what's possible.
Yeah.
The same thing you do with marriage. You show people what's possible. So ladies that have been listening, it is always a pleasure to have you here. We'll be back again soon with more information to keep you on the path of pursuing your dreams and not skipping a beat, because real women don't bitch. We don't complain. We get shit done. And we out of here. All right. Thanks again for being here, Imani.
Thank you for having me.
Deuces.